Hey, how's it going, GPU heads? Thanks for clicking on our video. 𝗧-𝗦𝗛𝗧 here, together with Hobbyist Miner. I'm pointing in the right direction this time. And since it's been about a week or so since we released our videos on spec mining Ravencoin Lite, a lot has happened since then, and we thought, let's sort of catch up together and talk about what has happened and, yeah, just the situation with the coin right now and how we're feeling and, yeah, what's happened basically. So we're gonna be covering 6 topics in this video, and I'm just gonna run through them quickly. So we're gonna talk about the current state of the network hash rate of the coin. We're gonna talk about Ravencoin Lite having been listed on exchanges. We're gonna talk about the current price point of the coin. We're gonna talk about the progress of the actual project that is Ravencoin Lite. We're gonna talk about a situation that's going on with Ravencoin Lite mining pools, and we're also gonna talk about, is this coin legit? Is it a scam? Because there's been some worry going on about this, and yeah, we're just gonna dive into that. But without further ado, I'm here, as I said, with Hobbyist Miner, this side.
We have a few topics to cover today. After hearing you run through them, I'm like, that's a video for every single one of those.
Yeah, I know. Let's try and keep it brief. I know that's not our style, but let's try.
I know, we were chatting about that before this video. We're like, should we make this 2 videos just because we go so long? But no, this sounds good. I'm excited. A lot has changed over the last 2 weeks since myself and Seb have gotten into mining Ravencoin Lite, and it's kind of exploded. Let's go ahead and start out talking about the current state of the network hash rate.
Yeah, so I looked into this a little bit before we got started here, and comparing the network hash rate on the project right now, it is about 10 times as much hash rate as it was when I was mining it for my video and you were mining it for your video. And
ridiculous. It really is. It's crazy. I mean, what other speculative, we ought to make sure we put that there, which I guess you can't really call it speculative anymore now that it's on exchanges, but what other coin out there, and our audience is very knowledgeable, they'll probably correct us here, but what other coin out there has exploded in a 2-week period like this from a hash rate perspective, which is nuts.
It's nuts. And just to I thought I should put that into perspective as well.
Okay.
Well, first of all, it's actually a good thing for the coin itself that it is doing so well.
Yeah.
Rate-wise, I know it's a shame for us miners. We yield a lot less coin, a 10th of the amount of coin, but it is good for the strength of the network, which is good for the coin, which in the end is good for us miners because it adds legitimacy to the coin, right?
Yep.
And also, I wanted to just put it into perspective. I did some math, and if my math is correct, it currently has twice the network hash rate as Flux does.
That's crazy, because like Flux is popping off right now. Well,
yeah,
it has been.
Flux, I think people view Flux as a more or less legitimate coin to mine in terms of just profits and stability of price and all of that. And to think that RVL has twice the network hash rate that does, that's insane.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it seems like this coin is very much matured in a 2-week period. Gone from point A of, hey, there's something out there. I mean, you and I both said it in our videos. We're like, it's not worth anything right now when we first released our videos, because it wasn't on any exchanges. It was pure speculative. There was no dollar figure associated with it at all at that time. And then within a 2-week period, it just took off. As you said, the network hash rate went through the roof. I blame Seb for that, by the way. And I
blame Hobbyist Miner for it. So
with our powers combined. But yeah, so it's really taken off, and that hash rate has gone through the roof, which puts a lot of people behind it. And I think that's the interesting thing is, like, are a lot of people just jumping on it to get a bag of RVL and then gonna hop off? But is this just a phase, or where do we take it from here? this could be our next craze, or it could be nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of exchanges, do you want to talk about the news we got there?
Yeah, definitely. So on my side, I was kind of looking into a little bit on exchanges, and within the I'd say a week and a half ago, maybe a week ago, it was announced quietly though that RVL was now on at least one exchange, which is called, I'm gonna butcher this, 𝗥𝗡𝗙𝗏 is the name of it. And I jumped over there to take a look at it. I had never been on the website before. I had never taken a look at it, but finally we get an opportunity to see like what is the value of this coin. And it's really funny because looking at it right now, this reminds me of Dogecoin. Not necessarily from the perspective of, because that coin was completely based around social media, and a lot of our culture affected that and it was brought up. This RVL is not a Dogecoin in that regard, but why it reminded me of it was when I started looking at Dogecoin a long time back, it was worth fractions of a penny. And that's where we stand today. So based off of, this is the only site we really have to go off of to benchmark the value of what we're mining as miners. And it's telling me right here when I'm looking at it, it is worth 0.004. So 0.4 of a US penny, USD. So 0.004. So what does that tell us? That tells us you can mine a lot of this. It's not worth a lot, but this is exactly where I was when Dogecoin first appeared, that it only takes this getting to like 10 cents or 20 cents to really, there's a lot of money behind this. So it is on exchanges right now, not a lot of them. It's not on any of the major ones yet, but the team, from what I've been reading up on Reddit and reading up on their website, is really going to town on developing this, and it's starting to pop up a little bit of everywhere. So I would not be surprised in the next 2 weeks to see this advance even further.
Yeah, you said they had started to be listed on Sato Dex or something like that as well. Is that right?
Correct. I saw it on there as well. Reading up on Reddit, Reddit's kind of where some of that information just pops up randomly that you wouldn't expect. There was no major announcement, but it is over on there. It's listed there, but there's no pricing on it yet. No activity on it yet. So it'll be some time, it sounds like. But hey, 2 exchanges in 2 weeks, that's a pretty big win for their team over there, and they're doing a lot, so it means a lot for the coin. And I want to preference everybody to let them know, like, 𝗧 and I, we're not in cahoots with the developers or anything like that. We merely are coming into a coin like this so early on, which is new to us. Like, this is new to me, like coming in before it was ever listed anywhere and being a part of that. So like, it's a new experience for both of us. And we thought after how big our videos blew up, there's a lot of interest in the community on Ravencoin Lite, that it would be great to go ahead and recap it a week or 2 later.
Absolutely. And if anything, the developers are probably like annoyed with us for we keep bugging them with questions all the time. And
yep.
So, and I also want to add to that like, we're not endorsing any of these exchanges.
Yep.
I have never used either of them, and I can vouch for if they are legit or not. And so I just wanted to throw that in there as well.
Yeah, that's smart. That's definitely smart. We don't want people to go diving in and then all of a sudden realize, hey, I heard it on a video they did, and then try to hold accountability. It's like, guys, we're just providing you the details that we're learning.
Exactly. But yeah, just speaking of it's starting to be listed on exchanges. I know just from having been creeping in the Ravencoin Lite Discord that they are also trying to get listed on 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Yeah.
And as well as other exchanges as well. And it seems to be a lot going on behind the scenes in a good way, as in they're doing actual work on both the coin and the back end, as well as the front end of the coin. They have just completely redone their whole website, and they're redoing their wallet. I believe they're redeveloping their wallet, and I just saw that they've also released versions for both Mac OS and Linux now of the wallet. So there's a lot of actual work going on behind the scenes for this coin. And yeah, I mean, do you have anything more to add about that? I guess talking about just like project progression and the phases coming up for the coin.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. So it's moving very fast. So either they have a boatload of developers on this or like one genius on their staff, to be honest with you, because on their website, they have a list of the different phases. And before they redid their website, which was within the last 2 weeks, I just stumbled across it just the other day. You know, they only had 3 phases listed, and it was very much, you know, July, August, September that they listed, and that was it. Well, now they have on here August all the way through January, and every month they have a list of what they're focusing on, and there's a lot of big wins in here. There's a lot of check marks as well to say, hey, this is completed. And I'll be honest with you, I'm very surprised from where this started to where we are today, and where it's going to be in January. If they continue on the pace that they're going, it's going to go far. I mean, when you had mentioned 𝗕𝗫𝗙𝗪, I was like, wow, like that's a big one, because a lot of people are converting their coins over there, you know, mining one to go ahead and exchange it for another. That's a very common practice within GPU miners. So I think that's excellent. When you take a look at these different phases, I mean, these are some items that some of the bigger coins out there don't even have in place yet. So it's like, if they continue at the rate they're going, they're going to set themselves up some great success here. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. I'm excited to see multiple phases and all the way out to January. I mean, I don't see this type of roadmap like this on other coins. I'd love to see this on other coins to get us excited behind it, but we're just not seeing that transparency. So kudos to their team. And also, I think showing this off as well gives you a little bit more faith in the project. Like, a lot of miners, like somebody like I know, Red Fox Crypto, he speaks very highly of Flux. He's been involved with that project for a long time now, just following it along. And he has a lot of faith in the project because he sees things like this, you know, progression and things not getting stale. Like, this is great. And kudos to them for the Ravencoin Lite team.
Absolutely. And I think something, and look, I should preface this this segment by saying we can still not make any guarantees that this is a completely solid, like it's speculative mining still. And this is a coin in its infancy still, but we're just raising some like, I guess, opposite of red flags that we're seeing, which is basically some things we feel like we wouldn't see in a scam coin, basically. And it's just things like, they had a perfectly good website, but they've still taken the time to completely redo the website. Why would you spend that time, effort, and money on something that was perfectly good just to make it even better? And I think let's move along here because we need to talk about RVL mining pools as well, and basically that you guys need to change pools, because not because there's anything wrong with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 or coin miners or whatever, but just because they currently have more than 50% of the hash rate, and that is never good for decentralization of any network. So if you're mining RVL currently and you're on coinminers.com, just consider another pool. There are plenty of pools. Actually, there are a lot of pools for this coin.
Yeah, a lot popped up in the last 2 weeks as well. But it was really funny. So like I made a video and I was pushing coin miners because I was like, this is what I'm using and stuff like that. And then Seb goes ahead and makes a video on the same pool, and now it's like through the roof. And I think the only reason why I was originally on pools.win, but I had a lot of challenges, and I think that's what a lot of these other pools did, was that a lot of these other pools were out there, they were dormant, they didn't have a lot of hash rate on them, you know, the difficulty was super low at the time, and then all of a sudden, all these pools got bombarded, and a lot of people switched over. And what I think why so many people have gone to CoinMinersy is because of the fact of it has held up. Where a lot of these other pools, ton of people have hit me up and be like, hey, if this isn't working, I'm having errors here, blah, blah, blah. And so that is what I'm finding, is that a lot of people are moving off of these smaller pools because they just can't handle the hash rate. To give you an idea, you know, CoinMiners is at 133 gigahash right now, which is 55%. The other day they were over 60. It was like 63% of the known hash rate was with them alone, which even the developers were reaching out to the community to be like, hey, let's make sure that we're, you know, kind of like, please spread out if you can that hash rate. And that's just from a security perspective, to avoid like a 51% attack and cripple everything for us. So yeah, I mean, I think the only way that people start to spread out is if these other pools step up their game and infrastructure and show the stability and the success of coin miners.
Absolutely. And yeah, I think that was it about pools. So let's get to our last topic, which is probably the most interesting to people, which is this coin just a scam? Is it a pump and dump? Is it legit? What is going on? Why is everyone talking about this all of a sudden? And let's touch on some like valid concerns, which I think it was Red Fox Crypto who said on his live stream that like any coin that has another coin's name in its name immediately kind of raises a red flag for him. And I understand that, because it is so easy to take a project that is open source like Ravencoin Classic and just make a fork, and now you have a coin.
Yeah.
And then and from the outside it could look like, you know, like neither me nor Hobbyist Miner have been paid to talk about this coin. What we do is we just have our ear on the pulse of what people are talking about on various mining discords, and we jump on the things we think seem interesting and we make videos on it. But from the outside, it might seem like, you know, they paid off some YouTubers to quote unquote promote their coin, to pump up the hash rate and pump up the price, and then they just sell it off. And like, I understand why it could seem like this. It is not the case. Well, at least not for me. I haven't gotten a single penny from anyone.
Exactly.
I feel like they almost should pay me, but I would also never take money in that way.
Sure.
And if I did, I would be completely transparent about that. No. But let's talk about also like what makes a scam coin even.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's a good topic. Before you get into it too much, you were bringing up like the name thing, which I think is important. And so you have Ravencoin and Ravencoin Lite. And as we talked about in both of our videos, Ravencoin Lite was a fork off of it, where some people get concerned, and probably the route we're going right now with Ravencoin Lite is, you know, Ravencoin, from my understanding, is ASIC resistant, versus Ravencoin Lite is not in the current state. So there's a lot of concern that a lot of this hash rate coming over, you know, hey, a guy wants to go ahead and throw his ASIC on it just to crank out, you know, 100K coins and put them in a bag. So that's one concern. So I'm curious on, as this coin continues, if it ends up having to alter its algorithm, and if it goes that same direction or not. I think people also should look at things like Ethereum Classic and Ethereum, you know, one being a fork of the other and such. And so I think that's important as well. So to someone like Red Fox Crypto, I'm going to stab at him again here, you know, being concerned of that name, I understand where you're coming from, I think. But as I said, Ethereum and Ethereum Classic are great examples of two very successful coins sharing the same name and having the same history behind them that did both go out and be successful. There's a lot of people that, you know, when 1559 hits with Ethereum, that are 2.0, that are looking at Ethereum Classic as a pivoting point to go to from Ethereum. So this is definitely going to be interesting. Based off of legitimacy, my comments there would be, have we seen anything that causes us to question it? To me, no.
It's an interesting, absolutely. Like it's an interesting thing you bring up about the algorithm and there being ASICs for the X16R algorithm, because that is a valid concern. And what I've seen too is the developers behind Ravencoin Lite seem to be very much like listening to the community, asking them what people's feelings are about the algorithm and whether or not they should change the mining algorithm.
Yeah.
I believe that was like there was a section in their frequently asked questions about this and why they chose that algorithm. And if I remember correctly, it just said this is the original algorithm for Ravencoin Classic, and we chose it so that we could get the coin up and running as sort of smoothly as possible. And then as work develops on the coin infrastructure, we could transition into a different algorithm if that is something the community would want.
Yeah.
So like
that'd be
that's
awesome.
just to say where they seem to be at in terms of the mining algorithm.
Just stay away from 𝗘𝗫𝗚𝗏, please. Stay away from 𝗘𝗫𝗏𝗏. Please don't pivot to 𝗘𝗫𝗏. Us miners have enough difficulty managing that heat alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I also wanted to talk about, just some of the criticisms that I've seen in my comment section. I don't know about you, just about sort of just mentioning a coin that isn't established.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I did everything I could in explaining that it's speculative mining.
Yeah.
And this is the nature of speculative mining. Like, it is taking a risk, and we don't know if this is legit or not. That is the whole point of speculative mining. We take this risk in hopes that this is legit and will grow, but it very much could not. And I think I just still need to drive that point home. And I also want to talk a little bit about what actually makes a coin a scam coin, or what makes a coin legit. Because if you're saying like, oh, this is a pump and dump, this is just a scheme to make the original developers rich or whatever, I mean, well, guess what? The people behind both Bitcoin and Ethereum are insanely rich.
Yeah.
You know, like, and like that's the exact thing that has happened with both those coins. And no one would question the legitimacy of those two coins.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You bring up speculative mining and like some of the comments you get on that. What I'm finding is I think the loudest individuals with comments, with Discord, whatever, are individuals that are mining today to cash out tomorrow. And so when they come across a discussion on something like this, like speculative, where it's like, there's no money behind this, or at the time of our videos, it's like, wait, what? Like, why would I take my electricity and my hash rate and put it into something that's worth 0? I need to cash it out in a week or two or a month and put it into a straight up fiat so that I could pay for XYZ. So for them, speculative mining is an archaic practice that, a lot of these individuals that are in the mining scene far before you and I did very early on in order to, gain, a decent wallet of these different coins, not knowing if they would die, if they'd go anywhere. I remember about 5 years ago when I got into CPU mining for a very short time, I was into like 20 different coins. Half of them don't even exist anymore. And they were worth fractions of a penny, but that was speculative mining. It was like, great, I'm going to mine these, and if they take off, phenomenal. Look at 5 years later, half of them are gone. The same thing applies here. No. I don't believe this type of mining is meant for the individual that has overinvested themselves into mining. For someone like myself or others who it's like for me, I've never even cashed out or transferred anything out of my wallet. So for me, I've done nothing with them. I'm a hodler, so I hodl it. So for me, I'm like, no problem. Like, yes, it's not showing me a dollar figure today, tomorrow, or next month, but hey, if it takes off, good. But that mentality does not work for everybody in the GPU mining community, and we understand. I guess the thing that we hope for is that you understand the flip side of why people speculative mine.
Exactly. And if your mindset is that of mining today to cash out tomorrow, then speculative mining isn't for you. And it is basically that simple.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking for a guaranteed profit, then that is the opposite of what speculative mining is. And isn't it a fact something like 99% of new coins fail within a year? Or I believe that's like a statistic I heard somewhere. And that's probably true. So how can you know which ones will succeed? You kind of can't, but if you never take a chance,
Yep.
you'll never win. So, and that is why I'm not gonna go all in forever on this coin.
Yeah,
I mined
I
it for
agree.
3 days, and that was it. Yeah.
Awesome.
I took a little risk, but I'm not jeopardizing my whole operation here.
Yeah, I am still mining it currently today, you know, the 22nd of September when we're recording this. And but I have one GPU on it. One GPU, 3060 Ti. I have it mining off to the side, and just as a, yeah, let's see how it does and how good it you know, it'll do. And you know, I'm kind of up in the air as to how long I do mine it. I'm tempted to see if I want to mine it to about 100K, but we'll see. That may be completely out of the question. But it's kind of feeling it out, seeing where it takes us from here.
Absolutely. And I believe that is it. Have we covered everything?
I think we did, and it's still under 30 minutes. That's a win-win for everybody.
Yes. We did it. All right. Well, why don't you guys let us know everything we missed in the comments, and we'll try to talk to you down there. And I guess that's it for this video. On screen now will be a little button you can click to go subscribe to Hobbyist Miner. I'd really appreciate if you did that. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Bye-bye.